Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is December 3rd, and we did a bunch of random stuff today. Um, don't really know where to start, so I guess I'll just start over the water plant. So, on the checklist I made at the end of the day yesterday, one of the first things I wanted to address was the water plant not being able to make Tier 1 and Tier 2 water. So, we did exactly that. I actually started off with setting up this mega chemical reactor as well as this fluid extractor over here. This specifically is taking in phosphor, which we might actually. Oh, we still have 300,000, making phosphorus and lava from it, and then this guy over here. I originally set it up to just do the circuit 24 recipe, which is phosphor, oxygen, and water to make phosphoric acid. But I ended up changing it to the 2 stage where we take phosphor, turn it into phosphorus pentoxide dust, and then ultimately make phosphoric acid. Just because this thing is more than fast enough to keep up with doing both stages of it, as well as you get more for your buck. So did that. Turns out that actually wasn't my issue though. I'm not really sure how it happened, but over here in this ore washer, where the dirty activated carbon goes, which basically everything up to this laser engraver, not including the laser engraver, is specifically to make the carbon filters for the tier 1 water. But for some reason, this had the clean activated carbon in here, and it was just jamming up the system. So that was why this whole thing clogged up, and I just didn't realize that. For whatever reason, I thought it was specifically the phosphor. I think I hopped over here, saw that it takes phosphoric acid to start, and just kind of assumed. But bad assumption. Although, realistically, because even now with this thing knocking out phosphoric acid, like it's still just being used as quickly as it's being made, so. And actually, for on-demand chemicals, which was another thing on the bullet point list, I did actually set up a pattern using the Circuit 24 recipe to be able to craft this, because phosphoric acid is used in a couple random crafts, so that made that so I could do it. I think specifically I was making another precision assembler, and I needed phosphoric acid for that. So I did not actually build anything further on the water line. I just got it running again. Let's see what we're at right now. We got a little bit of grade 1. Nothing really of grade 2. But I wonder if we're starting to fill up this buffer. This buffer is full, so it doesn't mean we are making. I haven't messed around too much with the parallels yet. I did bring more energy over here, obviously, to be able to make these guys run, as well as for when I start adding more, the higher grades in will be good. And then the last thing I did was, just so I don't ever have problems over here, I set up the auto maintenance hatches on both this guy and the Lapatron, and then all these blocks. I didn't do it on these blocks down there yet, but I will at some point. Next up, over in this building, I did finally cut the cord of cetene boosted diesel. Everything besides, I'm realizing now I forgot to swap out these couple things, which obviously you can see they don't actually get used that much because it's still completely full. But, so it looks like I need to move 2 things off of diesel still, and then we'll be all good. This won't be amusing because I don't think I have a pattern for anything higher than a LV packager. But yeah, so regardless, everything over here, I just swapped it over to Ivy because I have a ton of Ivy energy hatches, and all this stuff was running at EV anyways, so technically all of it's running faster now than it was before. And that was all these floors. One of the other things, it'll be more important, or it'll make more sense when I show off over here. I tore down the LCRs I'm not using over here because I did have like 3 or 4 random LCRs that I was using for, like, I had one on like circuit 5 and one on like circuit 1 just for some auto crafting, but all that stuff's up on a separate mega chemical reactor upstairs, so I tore all those down just to free up some channels. And then one of the things I brought over here is this little setup right here, specifically to make rubber, which is not going to show up here, but if we look in here, my refined glue and my molten rubber is now being produced over here. All that stuff was being produced on LUV or LV blocks over there. But I set this up as part of my the last thing I did today, which was cleaning up over there. So like I said, all this is off of the diesel now, so I shouldn't have any more power fails. It was good to do that because, say, for example, this multi-block over here is what makes my sulfuric acid, for example, as well as a bunch of my plastics are over here. So yeah, wasn't causing me too much problems, but it's just something I've been lazy about. I still do need to clean up more. There's a lot of stuff I can do over here to get it better. But one of the other things that was jamming things up that I kind of need to pay better attention to and probably make an automated solution for is this tree farm here. These chainsaws had run out of power, so this had turned off, which shut off this whole line. And this guy down here makes my phthalic acid, which then comes up to this line of LCRs, as well as my mega chemical reactors over in the B to process some of the combs. But up here specifically, this is what makes my what do you call it, polybenzene that stuff, which I had run out of, so I needed to fix, and it is not currently running, so there is probably still something else jammed up in here that I'll have to come back and address. But and then next up, what I was working on for the rest of the day is, so this is actually my original auto crafting area. Is where I started. Literally, my first line of auto crafting machines was here, and I just expanded till I had 32 things over here. I've been cleaning this area up. As you can see, I got a couple random things left, specifically this alloy smelter and this fermenter. I don't have a multi-block fermenter yet that I'm aware of. And then this guy, I was deciding if I wanted to build a separate alloy furnace or just tack them onto the one I have upstairs, which I think I'm just going to tack it on to that one because I don't really use these recipes that much. All this makes is steel leaf and some bricks, which are not common recipes for me. Steel leaf might become more common if I build more solar, and that's what this is here for, because the solar panels take like a little bit of magic investment or Twilight Forest drops in all of them. And then I just have 2 more assembly machines. I was being a little lazy for a good long time about cleaning all this stuff, because just as an example, these 2 assembly machines right here just are always full of refined glue, because there's a couple recipes in here like this older circuit board where we needed refined glue, but I hadn't started fluid crafting yet, or like this input bus like these input hatches, input buses, like they need refined glue as part of the recipe. So this is how I had been addressing it. And I had, for example, over here one that was a circuit 3 with polyethylene. So I did, as I pulled all those out, redid those recipes to be fluid crafting and moved them to the respective spots. The only ones I didn't redo, I moved into these 2 assembly machines, which these guys are now my circuits. And then I've got a quad hatch here, so I've got molten silicone, molten rubber, and then I could just start adding input buses because I was getting close to the room left on these guys for the amount of circuits I could do. So it'll be nice to have all this cleaned up. I'll be able to use the space for I don't really have specific plans for it yet, but I do need to connect these because technically these 2 don't have new power coming in. So if I for some reason do a bunch of crafting with my canner or my fluid canner, I'll they'll crash out because they're not connected to any sort of power source. But I did set up a Lapotron battery down here to be able to power the lower part of the tower, and then set up a mini subnet for moving power around. So I'll still have to clean up this area. This is kind of what the other side looked like still. Not too much left, just some assembly machines. I believe this doesn't have any recipes left. This was another way I was using when I first started A2. I was avoiding fluid crafting. So just a bunch of random stuff. And then I've got a couple more floors of this. There's these things, these couple random recipes that are left. Again, these are more just, you can tell the way I was doing it was anything I needed a fluid for back before I could make the fluid patterns. I would have the ingot form of it come into a fluid extractor and then go into the assembler and then come back out. This was for stuff where it was like, I didn't want to have assembler just sitting full of like molten iron, for example. And yeah, so I've just got a couple of those random ones sitting around. Looks like I've got, I've got 5 of those left still to take care of. This little setup, and then everything over here, which is just more assembler recipes. This is why I was the precision assembler I was mentioned crafting before, just so I can drop all these stuff into it and be done with it and have that all upgraded. And yeah, let's check out this power failure. This thing keeps power failing on me, and I don't know why. The batteries were full. Doesn't have any maintenance issues. You're like, I don't really understand what's happening. It's ran forever. Oh, it doesn't seem to have enough voltage coming in. Interesting. That'll be something to look at. Figure out what's going on down here. Low on power. Why are you low on power? Not enough power coming in. Is this thing on? Okay. I don't know. I guess that'll be what I look at tonight. See what's up with my power and why I should be able to. This thing should be keeping up. But this is kind of an example of I mentioned as one of my other bullet points yesterday, is I wanted to move all these things onto solar power, just because they'll keep running, and then that thing down there, that battery will only have to work on processing. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. This will be a week of busy work to be able to really strengthen the base to make going into UV smoother. Actually, one little final note, not too big of a deal, but I did change Neutronium to be passively crafting all the time at the moment, as well as Americanium, because this stuff is like 86 seconds an ingot right now, since I haven't upgraded the Volcanuses yet. But now 400 will be a healthy amount to get me started. I know one of the first blocks as we kind of like mix in cleaning up and building new things as part of the cleanup, I need 32 of these Neutronium frame box. So that's yeah, that was going to be expensive and going to be a long wait, but I'll probably craft that. I'll see if I can craft that PCP factory tomorrow. That'll help me clean up a lot of space. And yeah, we'll go from there. Appreciate anybody for watching. Sorry, my voice is still a little rough, but like I said, I feel fine. My voice is just meh still for whatever reason. But anyways, I hope you have a good night. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.